Cowboy stuff.
Yeah, I see you talking about Dak. Yeah, Dak kept us out here. Tom Brady. He ended up being great. He said, he's the best quarterback in the NFL. So see, I think so. The camera can't see it. The viewers can't see it, but I'll see it. Right. Here we go. Now, five, four, three. Oh man, you know what? I think they probably heard me talking the whole time because I didn't cut my microphone off. But anyway,
Damn. Come on. Come on.
anyway, man, the rewatch is gonna be really interesting for whoever watches that one. But welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, everyone. Welcome back to Casual Conversations with the Homie. We got Tito, Guru, Tito, Raymond. We're all here. We're all here joining you. You know, on our new slot Saturday morning. I think it's working out for everybody. You know, Fridays we normally get off from work. You have a long day. Saturday you get up. You know, do some exercises, and you know you're home already ready to go. So this 10 o'clock time, 10:45, 11. You know, it's doing us good. But what's going on, fellas? Guru, how are you?
It's great. How y'all doing?
I'm good. Tito, what's up with you?
I'm good, man. I'm good. You know, long weekend of work once again. But same old, same old. Excited to talk some sports, man. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. It is.
How are you doing?
I'm good, man. You know, I just had a good week.
Right
You know,
there.
work is work, but work is always good. Um, you know, it's kind of cold today. I went out for, you know, I did my walk this morning with the fam, and I like the cool weather,
Good.
man. I like it. You know, I feel like I got my workout in this morning. Now I can kind of relax all day now. So, you know, I did my duties, and I don't think I need to go to the store. So I'm good. I'm good. It's a lot of stuff, you know, sports wise happened this week. You know,
Hmm.
before we get into like the main meat of the show, Tito. So you watched the UFC card last night. I mean, last week. What did you think? Just give us a quick recap on that.
Yeah, I mean, I would say the three title fights, right? So it's like Sterling, you know, won the belt. I wasn't expecting him to. Yeah, I think I called him to win, but which he did, but by disqualification. Obviously, it was definitely an illegal hit. I'm not a fan of all the antics that are happening afterwards. You know, like getting involved with commentators and refereeing and everything like that. So it is what it is. Amanda Nunes, which I believe at one of our shows, I put her up there as pound for pound. I think came out and showed that, in my opinion. She definitely went out beasting. And then the one that I did get wrong, I mean, I did make sure that, Jan Blachowicz, was able to shock the world, and he ended up winning. He beat an easy, Adesanya, taking that first
Yeah,
L.
did he shock the world though? I don't
You
know. I
know,
guess his size.
no, he didn't shock the world. I said he had potential to shock the world, but it's just like, Izzy, you can tell it was a size. Like hopefully Izzy goes back to the drawing board. He said he's gonna go back to 185. But 205, he looked okay. Because he had the respect. I mean, there was a lot of feints that like if you saw like Jan like kept like giving him respect of it or like backing up every single time Izzy was gonna pretend to throw something
Mm-hmm.
right, but he just never took advantage of that. Like he didn't stay on the pressure. But at the same time, I mean, hey, he took it like a champ. He definitely say, hey, he's an L's an L. He's not taking it ungraciously as some fighters out there do. But it was a good card, man. I mean, there's another one today. It's free. I believe it's on ESPN Plus. I'm not too sure if it's on ESPN. No affiliation with us. But we got Leon Edwards. This is his first fight. Him catching that 3-piece and the soda in the UK about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And he's going to be fighting. So there's that big fight coming up too, man.
Yeah.
What were your guys' thoughts on the fight, man?
It kind of went how I thought it was gonna go. You know, I kind of
Nice.
well,
You
not
didn't
the
see
not
Izzy?
the
You
not
didn't
the.
see
I
Izzy
had
putting
Peter
on a bigger
Yan
show?
winning, huh?
Okay.
I had Peter Yan winning, but he was winning 4 rounds until he did that
Yeah.
stupid move. He needed him straight in his face, and that was kind of crucial. But Izzy, I felt like he could win, but to me, the size matters. Like that's why UFC has these
Yeah.
divisions and guys who kind of move up and down. That's good for them. But him to come off, to move up and then try to go after a champion, I thought that was like not the best, not the smartest move. And I think he'll be back. I don't think as far as his fighting prowess and with his stature, I don't think it gets diminished at all. But he has that one loss on there, and he was kind of looking at like a good UFC lossless, not say career, but a long lossless career.
Yeah, but well, if he would have won, more than likely he would have still been in that John Jones, Izzy talk, right? Like after this fight, I don't think that fight is ever going to happen. Especially John Jones. I mean, John Jones, if you've seen him lately training the way he's bulking up, I mean, in my opinion, it seems like he's doing it right. It's not like a big gradual blow up. It literally is little by little, and he's looking like a big boy, man. I mean, if he puts on that weight in pure like muscle, it's going to be very hard for him to jump back down, man. So we might see John Jones at heavyweight for a good while once he gets that first fight under his belt, man. So the only thing that came out of this, I think, is we're not going to see that super fight between Izzy and John Jones.
Yeah, it's not going to happen. John Jones will kill him. You heard it here first. All right, so let's get into the meat of the show. We got some NFL news. The free agency's been popping off. Draft is coming up. Guru's boy, Dak Prescott, got paid. He got his money. Now, before I'm gonna just let Guru go ahead, Guru. Let us know what you think, man. I don't even need to. This is your boy, man.
Well, I was a Cowboy fan of over 42 years. This is a good day for the Dallas Cowboys because I've been telling you guys all along that he deserved this money. He was going to get this contract. There was no other way, and they're going to have to pay him. They're going to have to pay him. Not only did they pay him, but they paid what he wanted. He has a no trade clause. All right, the $75 million in the first year of the deal, with 126 fully guaranteed. The Cowboys are doing good now. What we have to do now is restructure contracts. And listen, it's not a failure if we don't get to a Super Bowl, even though I know that we will within these 4 years. I know we will. With him at the helm, I have confidence. He's a winner. And people want to talk about when he has a loss this year, they're going to talk about his contract. Let's not talk about that because we weren't talking about it when he was making $600,000 a year. All right. So, and the stakes were high then. So we're not going to get into this. Hey, well, he's got paid now. He's got to listen. We saw what he did before he broke his leg, even though the Cowboys weren't winning. We knew at least we were able to hide. He wasn't the problem. So with all that being said, he is a top 5 quarterback in my eyes. I don't care what anyone says. His numbers are there. And had he hit the open market, you or Tito, either one of you would have wanted him on your team as your quarterback. You might not admit that, but I know it to be true.
Man, Guru, we have a comment already from David Voss. He says, Dak Prescott, the worst waste of money in NFL history. Now, David, I think that's a crazy statement, and it's not true at all. But
let me respond to him.
Go ahead.
Let me respond to him real quick as a Cowboys fan. David, you couldn't be more wrong. I hope that your heart is not involved in this statement that you just made. Look at his numbers, all right? Look at who he has around him. Look at the defense. So let's come on now. Let's be a little more clear on this. Don't be a hater.
He responded. He says, Guru, you're justifying putting makeup on the pig. He's slightly above average in the NFL. Take away that line in Zeke, and he has shh. But you know what? We talked about this before. Just because the person is surrounded by good players, that don't mean that diminish their talent. I say it all the time. They try to give me slack about Baker Mayfield being surrounded by good talent. And if he's playing good with that good talent, I'm not mad. That's what you want. You know, Tom Brady just won a Super Bowl with good talent. But anyway, I'm not saying Dak Prescott is Tom Brady. Guru, to your defense, the NFL has given the worst contracts to like. It was once upon a time Matthew Stafford was the highest paid quarterback. So I don't. You say they're going to reach the Super Bowl in 4 years. I'm going to say right here, right now, no, I do not think so. The Dallas Cowboys is still the same team. The Dallas Cowboys is not the 90s. Same thing. Dak got his money out of the draft class. He's shown the most. So let's give kudos to Jerry Jones because people was talking all that smack about Jerry Jones not doing right. But Jerry Jones actually looked up all the history, all the stuff you're saying, all the stuff he played for, even him getting hurt. He looked at it and said, you know what? Let me give him this money. Maybe y'all might have a winning season. Who knows? But I don't know, Guru, the next 4 years y'all win the Super Bowl, I don't see it. Zeke is already on the way out with his body right now. And this O-line is done. Y'all got some receivers though. I give y'all that. If y'all get that tight end from where is he from? Number 84. The one that's coming out the draft. If y'all can get him, y'all be good. Go ahead, Tito.
I'm very happy with our tight end already. I'm very happy.
No, definitely. So a couple. Yeah, a quick little hit. Just want to give a shout out to the comments out there. David, I see you. Definitely got to stay rocking the stash. Murph, definitely see you. Matthew, hi. Jose, definitely. So just a quick little shout out. A couple points on the DAK thing. 2 real good points, man. Next man up. We've been talking about it. When it comes down to the market, we don't care who it is, when it is, what it is. I think Jose said it in the comments as well. This is the market value at the moment. He definitely got where what he was asking for, but what people expect to pay a quarterback. So that's definitely a point, right? Which is like, all right, keep market, let the next man up get paid when it comes to it. The second good point is this is a necessity move for the Cowboys, but in my personal opinion, not just because I'm a Washington fan and I despise the Cowboys in all sense, but this is a really irresponsible money move for the Cowboys. And that's good for everybody else. Because guess what? How are you going to make this team better if you're paying 3/4 of your cap within 4 individuals, 1 on defense, 3 on offense? Like, how do you make this team better if, unless you, like Guru, if you're saying going to the Super Bowl and being a top tier team, that's going to go counterproductive, where the only way that you possibly could make it better is through the draft, and you're not going to have good draft picks if you're saying you're going to be a good squad. So, I mean, I think it was a necessity. Jerry Jones himself actually said it. I think there was a comment that I read that said, if there's one person that has taken advantage of me monetarily, I'm glad it was Dak Prescott. So it definitely is one of those where he knows he possibly overpaid. But he's going to be in a world of hurt, man, because where was Zeke this year? Zeke got paid. Where was he? What was he doing? Dak, hey, he deserved it. I'll give it to him. He's a good quarterback for you guys. And if my team, I think, my team was definitely in the news trying to make some noise and go and position themselves just like they did with Cooper, right? Washington went after Cooper at the end of last year. But how do we know Dak is going to come back? Like, that injury was a horrible injury, man. Like, that had shades of McCaffrey. If you guys remember, let's date ourselves, right? But it definitely was a really bad injury for an ankle. So it's like, he's not the most mobile of quarterback, but it's definitely an element of his game. How do we know he's going to come back 100%? I mean, we're still asking the same question. Sorry to throw this team under the bus, Ramir, but Carr, right?
We're not even talking about the Raiders right now.
But we're still asking those questions, right? That knee injury, like, when's he going to get back to full health? What is it? Maybe this is just a new iteration of Carr. Are we going to see a new iteration of Dak? I mean, for me, there's just a lot of unanswered questions that, hey, it's, he got paid. I think, Jerry Jones probably got tired of us not talking about the Cowboys, or America not talking about the Cowboys for, a number of weeks, almost a month after the Super Bowl. This is just another way for, to get back into the headlines. But I mean, hey, it was a necessity. They did it. I don't know how that team could get better with so much money that they have invested in a handful of guys.
So yeah, to me, I think with them paying the market and him. Go ahead, Guru. I see you like you want to respond, so I'm gonna be quiet. Go ahead, Guru. We're gonna let Guru get his Cowboys on.
listen, I mean, it's easy for you that paying someone $160 million is a necessity. I don't think that's a necessity. I think that sounds like a priority to me, and that's exactly what they got, and that's why he got the no trade clause because they saw his value, and you couldn't be more off base with your assessment of our salary cap and Dak's ability and his injury. I mean, the doctors already cleared him. He will be ready to go. This team is in line right now to make some sort of run if we can fix the defense. We're definitely going to win the division. That's a given. But the whole thing is that we have secured our future, and he is worth that contract. I tell you who's not worth their contract, Carson Wentz. Jared Goff, I can't say he's not because he took him to a Super Bowl regardless of how he played. And then you got guys like Baker Mayfield, who's coming up on a fifth-year option.
Right, so Guru, you bring it into my point right now. I think you're right. Carson Wentz was not worth the contract. Dak Prescott got his contract because it's the time. It's the time. That's how much it is. So obviously the highest paid quarterbacks next year is going to be one of three guys, and whoever gets signed first is going to be the person that's third on this list after the other two get signed behind them if they had good seasons. So if I can call it right now, one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL is going to be Baker Mayfield. Boom. Baker Mayfield, Josh Allen, or Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson is technically trying to get a new contract right now. So he's going to sign early. If the other two guys play the same way they played last year, the way the market is, those will be the highest paid NFL quarterbacks in the league, hands down. Go ahead, Guru.
No.
Tell me I'm wrong.
No, I'm going to tell you where you're right and where you're wrong. Where you're right is Lamar Jackson, who's been to 3 Bowls, who's MVP of the league. He has a case for a contract extension right now because, we know that team runs as he runs. Okay? Baker Mayfield does not get that 5th year. He does not get that extension. Why? Because he's not better than Nick Chubb. He's not better than a lot of those guys. He's not better than Denzel Ward at his position. And to prove that point, they're only going to pick up his 5th year option. And remember, they have till May 3rd, the NFL, to pick up 5th year options on 3rd year players.
All I'm saying is this: if they don't pick
he
it
will
up,
not get an extension.
If he plays the 5th year and he goes through this last year and he does the same, if they can do the same results, even with the same running back, him not carrying the team, he will be one of the highest paid quarterbacks. If the Browns, the Cleveland Steamers, if they get the same record, doing the same thing, and he does the same amount of work, even if he ain't in the top 10 NFL quarterback, he will be one of the highest paid quarterbacks because of the way the market is and where he's set up. Dak Prescott.
But you said this year.
No, I'm saying.
You said after this season or before this?
After this season. I said Lamar Jackson.
Oh, you'll have to have another season like that.
Lamar Jackson will get paid this offseason.
Oh, Lamar will get his now.
He'll get his now.
Lamar will get his now.
Yep. But Josh Allen.
Baker will have to have another year. So Josh will have to have another year.
You could argue Josh can get paid now.
He won't. They're already talking. The schools are already saying.
If he's smart, he'll bring it up because he had a heck of a year and he played pretty good. He had an MVP type year.
Interception away. That defense saved him in that game. He didn't improve.
You keep talking about one game and one interception, Guru. If we talking about MVP, your team doesn't even go to the playoffs.
But in that playoff game,
the Cowboys don't go to the playoffs. How many games have Dak Prescott won in the playoffs?
What you're talking about? You're talking about Josh Allen. You're talking about Josh Allen.
No,
and Josh Allen.
But I'm saying this.
But in the playoffs, he was there. You know what I'm saying? In the playoffs.
I'm saying
you got saved by a defense.
I'm saying regular season is a thing. That's why your boy got paid because of what he does for the Cowboys in the regular season. He ain't getting paid for what he did for him in the postseason. So stop. I'm not saying I didn't bring Dak up. You brought him back into it. I'm just saying. Okay. Wait. I see one comment on here. David Voss says Matt Ryan is still better than Dak. I'm gonna go with no. Matt Ryan needs to be off that team. He
That's why he came back and beat him. Did you see the game last year? Where were you?
I'm sorry, Matt Ryan is done. I think if it was me, I'll draft one of these quarterbacks at the draft, and I'll probably move on from Matt Ryan. But go ahead, Tito. Before we go to Cam.
Nah, I was just gonna say, I agree with you on the Baker front that he will probably be one of the highest paid quarterbacks out there, but he's our next Carson Wentz, in my opinion. He's not gonna be deserving of it. But the market is what it is.
Man, if Baker does the same thing,
I wanted to read.
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was gonna read Jose's comment where he said, "Damn, Guru, had to pull over for this. What has Prescott done to prove he's worth it? One good year when arguably had the best offensive line in NFL. He's like Montana. How could you miss with all those weapons?"
He won't miss this year.
Like I said, it doesn't matter. If he have all those weapons, he can hit them. He'll get paid. But Guru, for you to say that other players can't get paid because they didn't go in the playoffs, Dak Prescott he's only getting paid for his regular season's accomplishments as well. So How can you say the same thing?
No, he's not. He won the playoff game.
You have no NFC Championship conference. What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
In 4 years,
tripping
give him
today.
a chance. Give him a chance. 4 years.
I'm saying
he
got paid because of his regular season play previous seasons. His first year when he went 11-5, when they lost in the playoffs, still he had a good regular season. One playoff win, lost, but good regular season. Players get paid for playing good in the regular season.
4 years, 2 playoffs,
it's like
one
Lamar
victory.
Jackson is about to
Lamar
Jackson's about to get paid because he played good in the regular season. If Josh Allen plays the same with the regular season, he's going to be the top quarterback. If Baker Mayfield, I know everybody hates Baker Mayfield, but if my boy Baker Mayfield goes out there and do the same thing with the Cleveland Browns, he's going to be paid. Those top 3 quarterbacks are going to be the top 3 quarterbacks, and nothing of their contract is based off of playoff play. That's all I'm saying. And the same thing with Dak. If Dak can go deep in the playoffs this 4 years, good for him. We all like Dak Prescott. He's a good guy. You know, he's kind of like a middle of a pack guy when it comes to personality. He don't lean one certain type of way. He'll like to look and see the whole situation. And, you know, he uses his cognitive thoughts and unless it's a party and it's COVID time, he don't think that time. But other than that, he's cool. To me, Dak Prescott is, I have nothing to like. I don't have nothing to dislike about him. But to say that, you're going to win the Super Bowl in 4 years is crazy. But the only thing that I got a problem with your statement, Guru, is that you're knocking the other guys for being good in the regular. You're giving them playoff playoff knocks. Like they don't get to get paid.
Hey,
they haven't been to the playoffs and did this. Same thing with Dak.
Is Brady? As long as Brady's still in the league, everybody's going to get paid for the regular season performance, man. Nobody's doing shit in the playoffs. I'm sorry, but that's just not how this works.
Yeah.
All I'm saying is that Lamar Jackson will get his extension before this season starts, 21-22 season, and Baker Mayfield and Josh Allen will have to wait 1 more year to get it. So you are correct, Raymir. If they have another season like that, but I'm telling you, Raymir, that Lamar is going to get his now.
I know that because he has 3 good regular seasons. It makes sense. He won an MVP. Like he can win. I mean, he can get a new contract, and it can be one of the highest paid. No matter how you think about him, it doesn't matter because he deserved what he did in the regular season. I'm saying the other guys might not be there yet, but the way the market is and the way how trends go, if they keep on the uptrend, they're going to be in the top. Those are going to be the top 2 highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL. Simple as that. If they get there,
they remind me of Derek Carr. Both of them,
Derek
Carr,
once upon a time, was the highest paid quarterback in the NFL. And I'm a Raider fan, and I'm not saying he deserved it, but I'm saying at the time, it was his time. He was coming up. He was the next guy up when it comes to big extensions. So he got the big extendo. All right.
Does he have a 500 record? Just real quick.
No, okay.
Okay, all right. I'm sorry. Thank you. I didn't know. I didn't know that. Really? Oh.
Dang.
Okay.
No.
I didn't know. I just want to know.
On the YouTube, they can see what we're talking about. And nowhere it says anything about Raiders talk.
Oh, okay.
But if we want to get on the Raiders real fast, let's just talk about it right now. Raiders top 10 offense, bottom 5 defense, and we still won 8 games. If we can cross over and be middle of the pack defense, Derek Carr can win you 10 games. He won 8 games with a weak defense, and he get, like I said, all this talk, all with this, Russell Wilson. I'm still mad about that situation. That's the dumbest non-trade request you can do as a man. Russell Wilson, everybody accused you of being soft, and that was the softest trade request I have ever seen in my life. Nah, I like playing with this team. I like staying here. I like everybody, but if I left, I'm going to go to the Raiders. Maybe the Saints, maybe this team. Like, come on, dog. If you don't want to play for Seattle, just say I want out. But anyway, man, let's talk about another quarterback, Cam Newton. Cam Newton got paid $14 million from the New England Patriots. It's an incentive-based contract, but I think he gets $6 million. How you guys feel about that? Tito, you go first.
I mean, he didn't have the greatest season, right? And I mean, I think we were shocked of what he initially signed for this past season. Mm-hmm. I mean, it definitely is an upgrade. He had some glimpses. I don't know if health was the number one reason of it. Is he just wasn't 100% healthy. That could very well be the case, because he did have glimpses. Like, there were games where it was like, oh man, MVP Cam is here. It gave them a different element. Like, New England was on TV quite a bit because of it, right? But I'm glad he got paid. I mean, yes, it's incentive paid. I think New England is a franchise that's going to protect itself through and through, and be cautious. Like, take those cautious steps. So it's a smart contract on their part, because it really just comes down to, can Cam become the Cam that we know, that we're used to seeing. So I see it as good. I mean, I think the market, if he would have went to the open market, he may a team probably could have reached a little bit more, probably in that 20 range, as we kind of predicted at the beginning of last year. But that seems to be kind of like the middle of the pack in it. But at the same time, I mean, I would say hopefully he could, produce and be more consistent. If not, I mean, New England should be looking for a backup, a backup option if they want to stay relevant.
Guru.
Well, I mean, they need to be looking for backup anyway. My God, Stidham is just awful. They found that right away when they got him in minicamp. That guy, and if they would have cut him but they didn't want to look too bad drafting a 4th round pick. And listen, here's the deal with Cam resigning. From what I know, it's a $2 million signing bonus, $1.5 million roster bonus. So it's $3.5 million if he's actually guaranteed to start with. We don't know what the incentives are yet, but we'll find that out later. And listen, Dante Hightower, Patrick Chung, you had a lot of players who opted out last year. You got Trent Brown from the Raiders, who is back. So that'll provide some stability and what Bill Belichick wants to do.
That's the biggest NFL contract waste of all time, David. Trent Brown. Well, go ahead, Guru.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, well, he has a better coach. He'll be coached by Bill Belichick again. That's how he got that contract to begin with.
He said
he came from somebody who couldn't coach. So I think he'll rebound there. And listen, they went 7-9 with Cam. So I think they're going to be fine. I mean, 7-9 in a new system that you just did on the fly, and it was COVID. You really haven't had plus he had COVID. You're going to see a better New England team. And listen, Cam is going to do fine. I think he's going to prove a lot of people wrong. And, I think it's a good situation for him.
Okay, here goes my thoughts. I think that it's refreshing to see Cam Newton, Bill Belichick, and New England team. We're telling the truth about each other, like about how they like being in this system. They like being with each other. Like, I thought it was like kind of like, oh, he's just saying that because he's on the team when he can go to his next team, or they just saying that because he's on a team and they want to like attract new people here and they don't want people to seem like they're dogging each other. But they genuinely like each other, and they re-signed. Cam took a horrible deal last year to prove it. But Guru, to my point, to my Derek Carr point that I said last year, I mean, just now, and you just said it, New England's going to have some of their pieces back on defense. Like, they went 7-9 with a horrible defense. So imagine if your defense, can win you to a little bit more of those games. Cam Newton play was trash last year when it comes to quarterback play, but he didn't have the help. So if you still have the same team on offense, I don't know how much different results you're going to get. But I'm reading Cam wasn't healthy, and this might be the first time he coming in to playing a season healthy. So, I'm intrigued to see it. And to me, in the NFL, what other quarterbacks can you go with right now if you're the Patriots without making a move? And they still might draft a quarterback in the NFL draft. This is one of the best QB drafts in a while. Like they say every time, it's every single time it's more than 3 first rounds. Like the quarterback, they always say that. But they still might go with a young QB to sit behind Cam and learn. So, I don't know. I still think Belichick is reeling at the fact that they let go of Brady and their team kind of stunk it up, and his team actually won the Super Bowl. So I wouldn't be surprised if Belichick is doing this to prove a point that he can, he can make a champion out of anybody. But we'll see. I don't think it's him re-signing. I don't think that's like a big deal. Like it's like, okay, they 79. They don't, they only have to worry about the Bills in their division because the Jets, the Dolphins are in disarray now because of their own doing, not being like satisfied with what they have. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Any other NFL news before we move on to NBA talk?
Yes, we must talk about the NFL draft real quick. Since you did mention this was like one of those drafts, might as well talk about the quarterbacks that are coming out real quick and where they might land in that top spot to give the audience a little peek at what's to come next month. Trey Lance had his pro day yesterday, and I was able to see it. I recommend those who didn't see it, you can go on YouTube and probably find it. But it was a terrific pro day. He was a little bigger than I thought in person. Listen, I think this guy is the real deal at the top of the board. Like, I feel like there's some teams that are going to be shocked at the top of the board because I feel like this guy could probably go 1 or 2. You know what I mean? Based on, I looked at all of his film, and I watched the QB talk and watched all his breakdown. Plus, I at his highlight films. His first year in that offense, he threw 43 touchdowns and no interceptions. 0. This is the same guy who played in the same offense as Carson Wentz there. So, I mean, this, don't be surprised and don't get caught up in drinking the juice. Also, Justin Fields is dropping a little bit. They have him projected to be within the 10th spot somewhere in there. Trevor Lawrence is still at the top of the board, but watch out for Trey Lance. I think he could go really high, and the Jets might have their eye on him. Be careful there because Sam Darnold, they're finding a very hard trade market for him. They keep putting out this news like, oh, he's a potential trade. That's just to drum up support. Listen, they don't want him. And if a team wanted a former number 3 overall pick in his 3rd or 4th year, they would have snagged him already. Okay, so there'll be some surprises. Do you guys have anything to say?
Yes, Guru. Trey Lance. I did see his pro day. Trevor Lawrence is going number 1. You just have to make that pick. But Trey Lance, like you said, when you watch the film, how he played, you'll think he's like a small guy. But he's not. He's like 6'3.5" or something like that.
He's impressive.
That's a big deal. I think the Jets. So let me see. The Jets, the Falcons, the Lions, the Panthers, the Washington team, the Broncos, the Bears, the Raiders, the Seahawks, the Vikings. They were all there watching this pro day. And I'm gonna call it right now. I hope he comes to the Raiders. If he can come to the Raiders, I think if he can slide down to the Raiders, I don't know where's the Raiders picking at, 16 or something like that. If we can,
yeah, they're 16 or 17. They're late teams.
If we slide, to me, I don't see why we don't pick a young quarterback in this draft. I'll be okay with picking a young quarterback. Oh, well, we need defensive help, but
if the Jets or the Falcons don't want him at 2 or 4, because you're gonna have to jump above them, and the Jets, who are at number 2, they have so much capital to where they can make room for Deshaun if they want to.
I can see the Jets making a move at quarterback because I
and Miami.
Nah, Miami's just a dumb. They're dumb right now. They're sabotaging their own team. They did it themselves. Fitzmagic should have just played out.
No, they're in good position. They're in good position. They're in good position with the
nobody wants Tua. How they don't even want him.
Not even you.
They don't. They should just write it. They drafted him, and he's a rookie, and you put him. You shoo him in just randomly in like week 10 it was, or whatever. No, it was later than that. After Fitzmagic was doing his magic and leading y'all playoff hunt, and then you just throw him in there, and he doesn't play the best, and now you want to be done with him. He's trade rumors ever since the season was starting that they might want to move on from him. It's like, come on, Miami, give him some time. Like, come on. Like, I don't know who's saying this, but
I mean,
it can't be Flores with this.
I wouldn't give up on Tua though. I mean, I still think he's unhealthy. I think that injury that he had, I mean, that was a hip, dude. You're a quarterback. I mean, I think he's still unhealtty. You know, it could be very similar to like the Cam Newton, the Cam situation. He looks
small to me though. I don't know. To me, sometimes people need to just be honest with themselves when they're doing scouting reports on NFL quarterbacks. People like those tall guys with those big arms, and if you're a smaller guy, you can still do it. Like but look, Baker's a small guy. Small guys have hard to breeze, but it took him a while. Like it took him 3 seasons. Like people forget that he got drafted with LT in his first.
Russell Wilson.
Now I'm not putting him in there because he came out firing on all cylinders. Now to Pete Carroll's credit, when you see it in training camp, his rookie season, he just said, I'm gonna stop the presses. We're gonna go with this kid, and it's been pretty good for him. So but anyway.
And you can't be afraid to do it, like you said, Raymere. And I think that, like you said, teams are afraid to admit that they made a mistake, a colossal mistake, right? When you draft a quarterback number 3 overall, and then you have all this draft capital, and all of a sudden you have a chance to get another quarterback who's taller, 6'3", strapping, who can move real good. As you pointed out, Tito, concerns with Tua's mobility, his injury doesn't look like he's quite there. Those are major concerns if you have a franchise quarterback. So, yeah, you could move on from him. And like you said, Raymere, teams need to admit when they make a mistake, i.e. the Bears or someone like the Dolphins, because I felt like they made a mistake when they drafted them.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree. But, to me, I think you got to at least eat it for I don't know. Josh Rosen.
Kick the tires.
The Arizona Cardinals got rid of Josh Rosen after the first season, so we've seen it done. Josh Rosen, he makes me believe equality is a thing because he was done crazy. But anyway, I think when we have our draft show, we can kind of break it down because I think this is one of the more intriguing drafts when it comes to quarterbacks. Like I do. My top 2 quarterbacks, I'll just say it right now, is Trevor Lawrence and Trey Lance. I don't think, to me, the other guys are cool. Yeah. Fields is cool. Jones is good. And then the guy, Zach, is cool. But those other 3 guys, they haven't been doing it. I haven't been impressed with them as long as I've been with Trevor Lawrence. And then when last year, people be forgetting, if you're a real GTR sports, COVID sports OG, you would know Guru called Trey Lance back in March. And ever since then, I've been doing my research on him. And I'm like, it's one of those, that's just Guru talking. Guru always said something crazy. Oh, Guru, but it's like, Guru might have been right on that one. And if you watch the film, you can see his progression. Like, you see him kind of, like, he can scramble, but he doesn't. He looks back, he'll turn it, and then he'll come back and he'll look again. That's why I like Trevor Lawrence too. But, Trey Lance is that guy. And then, he doesn't, when you watch this film, because he moves so fast, you think he's 6 foot, 5'11", like one of those type of quarterbacks. But he's not. He has some size on him. Pause. So, we'll go more into it in the future. But I know we're a bunch of we're just 3 guys talking, But we be hitting a lot of stuff that come to fruition in the future, though. So just I'm not saying if we're Nostradamus over here, but at least
We
Negro.
do our research. We do our homework. We have a good feel.
Our
What's
draft
going
show
on?
is gonna be live for sure, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay. So NBA talk. So the NBA season is kind of picking up. All-Star weekend. I still say Giannis is the most disliked star of all time because I don't know. I just feel like people don't like him as much as other MVPs have been embraced. But anyway, so the MVP race is coming down. Some people are getting hurt. Some teams are in the middle of the pack. Some new names have popped up. People, I hear. I'm gonna throw this out here, and people are gonna say, "Of course you're gonna say that right there. That's your boy."
I already know.
But
I already
the
know.
James Harden for MVP talk is coming up. It's been rumblings. It's been rumblings, and y'all
Yep.
said my boy was gonna sink when he goes to the Jets. I mean Nets. He's just gonna be a guy that's on the team, but he is the guy on the team, no matter who's playing. But when the other guys were by themselves, the team lost. KD played without the other two. They had a couple of losses. Kyrie, of course he can't hold the team by himself, so the team been trash under Kyrie since last year. And then James Harden got on there. Now they the second best record in the East right now. They were they were towards the bottom. Now they're number 2, like a couple games out from the Sixers.
Yeah.
And then Sixers, Joel Embiid, the other MVP candidate, is out 2 weeks. LeBron James, MVP candidate, AD is out for another 2 weeks, which is going to total a whole month. His team is in like barely 500. Giannis, he's not looking like the MVP Giannis, but I guess he is. But people are getting tired of that type. People are getting tired of that type of MVP. Who else is MVP candidate? I think Chris Paul. Like I keep saying, I don't like him personally. I don't know him personally, but his attitude in the NBA I don't like. But he has the teams that he go on. They have an instant turnaround. And last year he did it for OKC, and we were saying he was MVP type of person. And if you kind of break down most valuable player for their team and their franchise, it has to be Chris Paul. But we know that's not how it's voted on. But who do y'all think is? How y'all feel about the MVP race right now, as of right now?
Well, I mean, to me, wow. I mean,
You have to go James Harden. You can't pick
you
nobody
pretty
else.
much have to. You pretty much have to go James Harden because he's that difference maker. And he's in the East. You have Giannis in the East, and Giannis has been in the East. And listen, I'm not saying Milwaukee is sexy because it's not. Giannis needs to prove that he's that guy, and so far he hasn't reached that level. James Harden has, and so yeah, he would be the MVP leader as far as I'm concerned.
Go ahead, Tito.
He's in the conversation. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
He's making some noise. And it's yeah, there definitely is a however, because on the Nets piece, the Nets, the East is for the taking because Embiid is out now. Like if Embiid didn't get hurt, I mean, knocking on wood, sad to say, but we kind of touched up on this on one of our past shows, where he was balling out of his mind, but for how long, right?
Yeah.
Like we all know his history. And now it's hurt. He's hurt, and there was, concern that it could have been ACL, MCL, right knee once again. But everything seems to be okay. But he is going to be out for some time. So Nets need to pounce on that. You're right on the Lakers front. I still see LeBron as a front runner just because what he's doing. He could will his team. I'm also going to stick to what I said last show, which is it does seem like the regular season nobody really cares about it. Like there are teams out there that are definitely coasting and not really giving the respect, right? Kind of like what we talked about with Utah Jazz. Mm-hmm. The one knock that I have on Harden is what's going to happen when KD comes back? Like, will he be able, like we all know once KD comes back, that's his team. Like KD, whatever KD says and does, like it's going to run through him. I'm sorry, but if KD's on your squad, that is his team. So will we see Harden at this level? Because he is at an MVP level right now. I'll give you that, man. Like it's been fun to watch him play, even with Kyrie. Like, I mean, Kyrie's a baller too. I won't take anything away from him, but the Nets have been fun to watch. So I'll give you that. Will he do the same once KD comes back? I mean, I hope KD realizes that maybe we should have Harden be the facilitator, because I see him as the best point guard that team has right now. He could create his own shot. I mean, he walks, but whatever's. We're not talking about that. But he could get it to whoever needs it. And at the same time, he's gonna knock down any shot that you pretty much allow him to take. So it is one of those things where I hope KD recognizes it and he stays at this level. If that happens, he will win MVP, at least in my eyes. I don't know if it's gonna be, once again, stat driven or anything like that, where that people might not vote for him. But it'll be interesting to see once KD comes back. But I'll give it to you, man. I see Harden step up in a way that I didn't think he was. I mean, now it just makes me not like him even more for what he did to Houston. I mean, I know that he wanted out, and those pictures of him looking, having that COVID 30 on him, but it is one of those things where you can tell he literally mailed it in so that he can get the hell out, and it's like, how much respect can you give a guy for doing that? But it is what it is. He's balling out. It's good to see. He's the front runner.
Yep. Season sweep.
Ramir's happy.
I'm not saying I called this when he, I did. I admit I didn't like the way he left Houston. I said that. But at some point, people are going to take care of their own careers and do what they want. Like, look at Deshaun Washington and leave Houston right now. So we gotta respect him, and accept it for wherever it is. What it is, it is. I'm not about to keep beating on the horse. And we all know James Harden is one of my favorite NBA players. Him, my top NBA players right now. Him, Dame. I go with LeBron still. I'm gonna go with KD. It's KD and Embiid. That's my top 5 right now. So, anyway, speaking of, I didn't say Steph Curry because Steph Curry is cool, but the team doesn't they don't be winning. But go ahead, Guru. Tell us about Steph Curry. What happened? Because I'm not on the internet. Like, I'm on the internet, but I'm not on social media. And you get most of your stuff from social media.
Yeah, I didn't see what he said either.
Well, just that he was just very animated towards his teammates on the bench Thursday. I think they lost by like 30 or 40, or they were down in the third quarter by 20 to, I can't remember who they were playing.
Is that the Clipper game?
Yes, it was the Clippers. They were down 20 by the Clippers. They ended up losing by more than 20. If I'm correct, y'all can check it. But he was very animated, probably more animated than people are used to seeing him. And listen, they're 19-19 right now, and 19-19 in the West is not good enough, as you all know. Mm-hmm. They're in 10th place, so they're really fighting for a playoff spot. And Steph, they're either going to have to make some changes at the trade deadline, or we might have the possibility of the Warriors not being in the playoffs for the first time in about 7 years.
2 years in a row. They didn't make it last year, but
they did not?
Mm-mm.
No.
Okay. So, excuse me. So, anyway, but what I'm saying is, and thanks for correcting me, is that they listen, they need to make some trades. You can love Draymond Green all you want. You can love Oubre, who's, he's a clown. We had him in Washington. Why you think he's at the Warriors now? Been traded everywhere. But he needs help, and his legacy is on the line because he's in his prime, and granted, Clay is not there. But listen, great players are going to get their team in the playoffs. And he has to get the Warriors in the playoffs as part of his legacy.
Right. The Steph Curry's defense, and this is my I'm gonna take my Warriors fan hat off and take my 3 rings off in Oakland.
I still see it.
In our backyard. Parades outside. But Steph Curry, to me, this team problem is not Steph Curry and all his teammates. The problem is, in this, I don't know how is this not like being talked about more, but it's Steve Kerr in the GM situation, or whoever's bringing in these players, making, like you keep saying these dumb. I mean, not dumb. Like you keep saying the trade deadline, they're gonna make a dumb move. The Warriors have not been making smart moves since Mark Jackson left. They only did one thing on their own, and that was get KD. Other than that, I don't think his team building skills are there. Like he's not putting the right players around Steph. I know Kerr's a likable guy. You know, he's cool. He's chill. He looks like the coach that like smokes weed or whatnot, so he's relaxed. But I don't. His draft picks are not there. You know, like even LaMelo Ball is balling out. Wiseman, they just benched him. He's benched now. He's sixth man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He has Draymond cursing him out on the floor over players he should know. And it's like, who's not coaching him up to get there? And you're not putting the right pieces around everybody to gel with Steph Curry and what he does well. Like Steph, he could will a team and give him some wins. We've seen it done. I was gonna say point guards can do that, but Allen Iverson did it. But at the same time, Larry Brown has some good pieces around him, and he coached better. Like I just feel like Steve Kerr is just not coaching right now. Like I don't. You watch the games and you like, what's going on? Like all these runs they get ran on is because they don't call timeouts. Like, hey, dog, this is a 15-0 run. Stop the bleeding. And he just keeps letting them play. And it's like, come on, man. Like, I get it. You won us 3 championships, and I seen that, and we can see that in our lifetime. So that's special. Like, you know, I'm not the Dodgers, the Patriots, the Buccaneers, or, you know, basically the Patriots and the Red Sox. I'm not a team that's like been a part of winning seasons like that until the Warriors. The Warriors my first dynasty team in my life. But that's over. I know Clay is out. If Clay was on the team, it'd be a better team. But to me, I'd be more confident in my coach if my coach knew how to coach with the players he had and made the right moves. He's been backtracking for the last 3 years with his trades, his signing trades, and everybody since KD left has been like a dumb move. And it's arguable that, you know, people that besides KD was a dumb move. It's just that, you know, we had the superstar stuff to mask it.
Yeah. I agree with you, Ramir. I agree with you in that that the coaching staff and the general manager should take some responsibility here. I say some because it's on the players too. Come on, man. Like they're champions and they have this champion mentality, right? Like and you see Draymond out there, you know, you see Draymond. Yeah, but it's like you see Draymond out there, like while he's running plays, he's trying to coach these new players into position. You know, like you literally see this happening on the court time and time, where he's like drawing out the plays as if it was practice, right? Like you definitely seen it. And they're right; they expect more, but they also got to recognize that they're not at that level. You know, like they personally probably are, but they're not. The team isn't. So it's like they do need to kind of tone it down a bit to do so. But I think you're right in that ownership, our GM and coach has a lot of responsibility because you're right. Kerr needs to try and put the right pieces together, and he's just not getting it right. Two, all these assets that they're trading. I mean, it's like contract, like Wiggins, dude. Like we know that he's not a good player. Like he has flashes, but he's not gonna. He's not consistent. He's not there. He has this contract that is apparently desirable. I don't know why, because it's a big number. Because you're going to be able to go after a Beal and say, oh, we can match it. Who's going to want a garbage player for an all-star? You know, like it's not going to happen. They need to manage their assets a lot better. Like, I'm sorry, Wiseman is going to be good, I think, under the right tutelage, under the right, you know, system. But he's still an asset that I would be, if I was the Warriors, I would be looking to say, hey, look, this is somebody that I can possibly go get a Beal for if we do this, you know. But I don't know. It's kind of like what I'm thinking Houston might be doing as well, the Texans, where it's this mentality of like, oh, like I'm gonna stand pat. I'm gonna stand pat. Like the Warriors are probably thinking, oh, we're good. Let's mail in this year again, and Clay's gonna come back next year, and we're gonna be golden. Clay's gonna be our savior. Now I don't think that's gonna be the case, man. Like you gotta start building. You gotta want to get better. And that's what happens with these super teams, man. I mean, we've seen it with Miami. It took a little bit, but they came back and started building right. Like once you have a big super team and you're paying only 3 or 4 players and you don't have a bench and you don't have these secondary role players that you need in order to make a run, it gets difficult. And this is their difficult span. And I don't know why they're not realizing that this is just their difficult time. Like they're not going to be able to get back up there, even having the best shooter, in my opinion, that the NBA has ever seen, man. Because Clay is out of his, Steph is out of his mind right now, dude.
Yeah.
And I'll say this real quick, if you don't mind. is that if you draft a player like Wiseman, and I think this is what you were getting at a little bit, Ray Mears, like, you know, um, Melo would fit that offense a little better right now than Wiseman. And if you were a Wiseman player, you would have to tweak your offense if you were the Warriors, right? Because you'd have to slow it down. You spent a valuable pick. You obviously expecting like a double-double out of this guy, right? So you got to feed him the ball in order for him to do that. And that would be like a triangle offense, which Steve Kerr played in with Chicago. He would have to change that offense, tweak it a little bit. And I don't see why he doesn't run the triangle offense because, Kerr and Clay are older, but they can still shoot. They won't expand as much energy. But they can make this pick come right. But he's got to, look, we got to change the offense up.
To me, like I said, they didn't do themselves a favor by doing that, or him a favor. Like if you run this style of offense, just plug in the people that you need to plug in. And it's like, why would you? To me, I always thought it was a bad fit. And I just feel like Kerr and them don't know what they're doing. And it's like,
and I agree with you. Kerr has it doesn't seem like he knows what he's doing. It doesn't. Like, how are you going to be a championship coach, run a dynasty, and all of a sudden fall off the map? Like, you have to reinvent yourself. And so you're correct with that.
Yeah, and then to me, the Warriors of old, before they got booming, they had Steph on the team. Clay was on the team too, but Clay wasn't at that superstar level yet, and they had the right pieces around him. They were playing better. Maybe the Warriors team is missing the Oracle right now, and they were just an Oracle fan-based team that ran off of energy. Now the fact that we don't have it, maybe, but I don't know. They need to get it right. I think they can. Blake Griffin signed with the Nets. That's what was the NBA news. I forgot about that.
That's news. Okay.
We all know how Guru feels about Blake, dude.
Blake Griffin signs with the Nets, and then he literally at the same time announces a new show on TV. I told you, Blake Griffin, man, he just, I don't know. I think now that the pressure of him to be basketball first is gonna be back in his life, so he should play better.
Hopefully.
Where do you think? What's his name? Andre Drummond's gonna go.
Who cares? It seemed like ever since he got paid, he goes from dating the chick from iCarly,
I don't even know that information, Guru. Nah.
I have my sources, okay? And by the way, she said he couldn't kiss. I'm like, you don't want that out there. A kid from Disney said you can't even do anything. But anyway, who cares? Like, he just kind of fell off the map. I mean, with all that size and all that ability he had, he just doesn't give a damn. Why don't they just amnesty his ass and let him go? That's what I was,
they let him go, I think. Didn't they? Didn't they buy him?
Yeah.
Yeah. I said
he was trying to get a buyout.
What team is he going to next? Who's signing him? The Lakers? They have to, right? AD's out for a month.
I think so. I mean, to tell you the truth, I see Boogie as a fit for the Lakers right now, man. Like, if you're gonna play this run and gun type offense, man, like this transition offense, I think Boogie can fit really, really well. The one thing that I think Drummond does well that I don't think he gets a lot of credit for in the NBA is offensive rebounding. I think he's really, really good at offensive rebounding for me, man. And I think that's definitely something that's invaluable when you miss a lot of shots, or get that extra possession in order to have it. And I think the Lakers would benefit from it because they don't have that sharp shooter on the squad by any means. So I think if he does get bought out, I don't know if he has already or not. But I think he'll go after. But if not, I mean, every contender is there. I know that the Lakers are eyeing PJ Tucker as well. I mean, I think it'll go hand in hand. We'll probably see the greatest Kobe's on the court, shoe wise, if Tucker ever gets into a Laker uniform. But yeah, I mean, a lot contenders are salivating right now with everybody that's going to be free, wanting to jump on one of these teams.
Well, the Lakers need him. The Lakers need it because LeBron, I think for the first time, I've really seen him tired. You know what I'm saying? Like tired. And I haven't really seen that before. Like he's slowing down. He's gonna need a lot of help during this break. I hope they make the right picks and quit going after all these old veterans. The NBA is about young legs, right? Because that's what you need. You can't have players with a lot of wear and tear on their trades. You need some, players in their mid-20s who can get up and down the floor and compliment him, or else the Lakers are in trouble.
Nah, I don't. I disagree with that, Guru. Like you just described the Warriors to me. Like they're getting all these young, mid-20 guys, that can run but not really do anything.
Yeah, I'm talking about
I
a
mean, I know
playoff team.
that LeBron is doing good. I do see that. I do see him slowing down ever so slightly, but I mean, he's still, what is this, year 18, year 19,
Doesn't
doing
matter.
the things that he's still MVP candidate, right? But
Yeah, but he needs
I
help
think
because they're slipping right now.
he definitely does, though. I mean, I think once AED comes back, you'll know that, hey, AD is a force to be reckoned with, man. Like,
They
I
need him.
think they'll be okay, but they need help at the moment. You don't want to dip and slide too much.
Okay. All right. It's been an hour, guys. It's been an hour, fellas. I thought that was real strong. Um, yeah, man, we'll see. Dak situation. We're rooting for Dak. We're rooting for Cam, but Dak is, sign of the times. Good for him. MVP race. Go ahead, Warriors. Any last words, Guru?
Yes, I just want to mention, like, college sports, starting to come back a little bit. We'll see us start to see, like, Deion Sanders and Jackson State. By the way, they play on ESPN2, I think at 2 or 3 p.m.
Wait,
Uh,
today?
today, yes. And Jackson State versus Mississippi Valley State, I believe. But, check that out. It's back. I'm glad to start to seeing things come back to normal a little bit. And keep watching our show and keep challenging us, because you make us better out there.
Tito.
Yeah. Thanks to everybody that watched. Everybody in the comments. We appreciate all of you guys. Keep tuning in because Guru is still a Cowboy fan. It's definitely going to be fun. Gearing up. I think draft is only a month and a half away. So we got that big show coming up too. But stay out there, as Guru said. Challenge us. Reach out to us. Let's chat. Let's go ahead and build the show with you guys. But as always, stay safe out there. And this is a blast, guys.
Yeah, man, it was cool. I think today, earlier we peaked. It was like 10 people in here at one time. That was up. Everybody that watches in the rewatch, thanks. Who's in the comments? Let's see. We got a bunch of folks in here. We got Murph, David, Matt, Jose, Tandy. Hey, Tandy, I see you in there. That's why they should have drafted Ball. I agree. He's not a real champion. He inherited a good team. I think Steve Kerr did. I think now that the jury's out that he inherited a good team. But we'll talk about that next week. Thank you, everybody. We'll be back again. And also thank you to Guru and Tito. It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys. I actually don't have anybody to
Pleasure.
talk to besides Saturdays.